Hello, and welcome to the Origin channel. This video runs up the series of starter-only decks worth 30 to 40 ranks in Kaladesh and is included to provide you some variety of choices. If you have watched the Cynic starter video, you may skip to the decklist or gameplay, because the plan is identical. When playing against high ranks, if you have a worse card pool than them and less efficient creatures and spells, you will want to win as quickly as possible. Most of the time, you'll want to mount an attack straight away and not rest until you win. If you see that your opponent has dealt with all your threats, you can either continue the game for experience or concede and move on to utilize your time efficiently. White and blue decks are known as Azorius, and they are more mid-range than red and white variety. To compensate, this deck achieves speed by special combo tricks. Please be aware that it's a little unrealistic to expect to climb to rank 40 with this deck. If you're new to the game, expect to be in the 5 to 10 to 15 level bracket. If you're a super pro in Magic, perhaps you can get to level 30-ish. If you can get any better rank, be sure to send me the vids. The deck prefers as many creatures in the hand as possible and needs just 4 mana to roll out properly. In the beginning we play out many small creatures and try to deal damage. On turn 3, ideally we get the Strider's Harness out to grant haste and buff our other creatures that enter the game next turn. The deck also uses mana sinks to buff the creatures and ally triggers in some cases. Now, let's discuss each card's role in detail. You may also skip to the gameplay if you already have a good grasp of the cards used in this deck. The Expedition Envoy is a good value 2/1 creature for 1 mana, so we'll have the maximum amount of them in the deck. Also counts as an ally. The Cliffside Outlook is a 1/1 ally creature that can trigger some synergies in the deck and has a mana sync ability that buffs all the creatures we have if the game lasts this long. Dauntless River Marshal is one of the best 2-drops in the starter deck. Becomes a 3/2 creature if you control an island and has a mana sync ability to tap creatures and especially blockers in the mid and late game, a common target for removal spells of our opponent. Core Blade Whirl is an ally creature that will trigger first strike for all your critters when it or other allies come into play, here for its power and toughness. The Kinsbillick Skirmisher provides the extra +1/+1 buff until the end of turn. Might not seem like much, but if he buffs himself and you attach a harness to him, he becomes a 4/4 hasty creature, making it sizable. Welkin Turn is a 2-power flying creature that essentially has built-in evasion, making it a good 2-drop for attacking. The Bronze Sable is in this deck for an extra target for Esper Zoa's ability in case the harness is not in play and can also chump block. Nimbus Wings is our evasion trick that allows to deliver damage avoiding opponent's blockers. Also provides a degree of protection from burn spells. Reprisal is our removal for this one super blocker our opponent may have. Esper Zoa is an excellent creature that comes with an ability that will utilize. At the beginning of the upkeep you must return an artifact to your hand. This means that if there is no other artifact in play, you'll have to return Esper Zoa itself, so play it out wisely. Another combo for us is to play out the harness on turn 3, on turn 4 play out Esper Zoa, attach harness for haste and hit for 5, beginning of turn return Esper Zoa to your hand and then repeat for 4 mana. See how it works in the gameplay. Strider's Harness. Once you play with this deck, you will love it. It is perhaps one of the most underrated and underutilized starter cards I know of. After turn 3, it gives your creature of choice +1/+1 in haste. This is prime value here, and it's definitely the card that gives you this one turn edge when you barely win against your opponent. Suppression Bonds can stop an enemy planeswalker from using its abilities or a blocker from interfering. As for the mana pool, we have 10 plains, 10 islands, and 2 glacial fortresses. Now that we have discussed the deck, let's play. Alright, let's have a look at what we have. We have 2 mana and an Esper Zoa in our hand. Oh, our opponent has been replaced by the AI, so we'll have to go against the computer. Let's keep it. Let's play out the plains first. Then second turn we can play out the Bronze Sable. And hopefully on turn 2 or 3 we're going to draw a blue mana that we can use for the Esper Zoa. Right? Instead we get the cliffside outlook, but I think we still want to play on curve the bronze sable that we have. So let's go ahead and wait for our opponent. He is on blue and red EZ colors. I don't know if he has more, but this perhaps means quite a lot of burn. Let's go ahead and attack with the bronze sable first. Get in for 2 damage. Unless it's going to be removed. Alright. Now at 18, let's go ahead and pray out another bronze sable. We already have quite a collection of them. Alright. Double blue and red. We still have the sables. I think we want to attack right now. Our opponent might have sweepers or something like Twin Bolt or Avacyn's Judgment. Alright, instead it's Kozilek's Return. So the bronze sables are not going to come through. The only instant speed mass removal spell in Duels for red. Let's play out the 2 cliffside outlooks we have. See if our opponent has more removal. Alright, double red, double blue. End of turn, let's see. I think we want to attack first. We still haven't got the mana for the Esperzo, which is quite a pity, but let's cast out the bronze sable. At least we've got quite a few creatures going here. So Kozilek's Return, I don't think he has any Eldrazi, but he does have a full hand, so this is definitely a control type of deck. Let's see, no more spells. Alright, we've got even more creatures. Let's go ahead and attack first. Alright, Galvanic Bombardment is going to take care of the bronze sable. We're going to get in for 2, leave our opponent at 14 and play out the Skirmisher. Is not too nice at the moment, but it's good that we didn't cast it out, otherwise the Galvanic Bombardment would have still gotten rid of the creatures. So we play out Core Blade Whirl as our 2-drop. And the first strike is not going to matter to us because he doesn't have any creatures at all. Opponent is at 6 mana. Let's wait and see. So now we finally have the blue mana, but our bronze sables are no more. So if we cast Esperzo, we'll have to return it to our hand. So instead it looks like it's better to play out the Skirmisher and buff one of our creatures. Let's put this 1/1 buff on a cliffside outlook, then go ahead and attack. Then end of turn we can play out the Expedition Envoy. Harness Lightning, going to take care of the Core Blade Whirl. So it was good that we didn't put the +1/+1 buff on him. Let's go ahead and play out the Expedition Envoy at the second main phase. The mana sink ability of the Core Blade Whirl will have to wait until we have enough mana. Yeah, let's keep the Expedition Envoy in case he has another removal. Alright. Now at 7 mana he has a very wide variety of choices that of things he can do. Alright. So we had to discard Esperzo, but we do finally draw some lands, courtesy of our opponent. We can go ahead and attack, since we don't have enough mana to cast the mana sync ability, and let's cast out the creatures we have here. Nothing else. This means that now we have the mana. We can also just go ahead and buff all our creatures with the mana sync ability, and now they become quite sizable, and it looks like we can attack for lethal. Let's have a look if there are any other removal spells. Alright. The axe is going to take care of our Dauntless River Marshal. That leaves our opponent at only 3 health. And let's hope he doesn't have removal for us. Alright. Cathartic Reunion. So might have been a mill burn deck, another Cathartic Reunion. Did he draw any answers? Take inventory, going to draw some more. Alright, we do have the welcome turn, but I think this is already game over if our opponent doesn't have an answer to at least 2 of our cliffside outlooks. So let's attack, and if there is no defense, then we have won. Right, let's have a look at what we have. We have 4 mana, but we do have some good creatures for these 2 drops. So let's try it out. Our opponent plays an island. Let's see, we got another land. This is not completely ideal for us. Let's see, which card do we want to play out next? A Welcome Turn or the Dauntless River Marshal. Our opponent also has red. But we do have a Strider's Harness, so this is good news for us. Let's play out the Welcome Turn, since we do have a few of them, and save the Dauntless River Marshal, potentially from the burn spells that red and blue have. Right, Galvanic Bombardment takes care of the Welcome Turn. So it was a good idea for us not to cast out Dauntless River Marshal. Alright. Foundry of Councils can create Thopter tokens for 5 mana and sacrificing the land. Let's go ahead and cast out the Harness, so that all the creatures we're going to play will come into play with haste and +1/+1 once we attach them. We also have enough mana to enable it. Alright, opponent plays another Foundry. Also a Reclusive Artificer that has haste. So it can deal damage to creatures when it comes into play depending on the number of artifacts he has in play. He gets in for 2, leaving us at 18 life. But he does tap his own creatures and he's tapped out of mana. And that means we can play out our biggest creature, or we can play out the Welcome Turn with Evasion. Let's save our Marshal for a little bit more, but let's play out the Cliffside Outlook for the maximum effectiveness, and attach the Strider's Harness to the Welcome Turn, and get in for 3, leaving our opponent at 17. Alright. Opponent has an artifact. This is a 2/1 1-drop that cannot attack alone. We are not going to block. So we do have a Bronze Sable, we now have 5 mana available. We can play out a Core Blade World, or we can activate the Mana Sync ability, so we don't really want to lose the Cliffside Outlook. Or we can develop the board and play out creatures. It is quite a tall order. Our opponent also cannot sacrifice his Foundry of Consuls yet, since he doesn't have enough mana, but we can attach the harness to a creature that we're going to have. So let's develop the board. Let's attack with a welcome turn first. We get in for 3 and leave our opponent at 14. He doesn't seem to have removal. Play out the Bronze Sable. Play out the Dauntless River Marshal. So let's go ahead and wait. Maybe should have played out the Dauntless River Marshal and attached the harness to him. Alright, Galvanic Bombardment for Dauntless River Marshal. This one would have taken care of him. We do have Nimbus Wings, so we can either play out a creature and attach the harness for haste, or we can buff one of our creatures with the Nimbus Wings, or use the mana sink ability of the core Blade World, of the Cliffside Outlook, I mean. Let's see. I'm going to give first strike to the creatures we have. Then I'm going to attach the harness to give haste, or perhaps just get in and attack for additional damage. Yeah, let's attach the harness. Attack with most of our creatures. That can survive. Right, opponent doesn't block. This means that he does get down to 9 life, which leaves him quite vulnerable. Right, another Reclusive Artificer. Let's see, he's going to take care of Welkin turn. Nothing we can do about it, really. But we do have another Dauntless River Marshal, and we do have another Nimbus Wings, and essentially we can cast him out, make him a flyer, and make him buff him and give him haste. And we do have enough mana for this. Our opponent is also tapped out of mana. Can also just buff the core Blade Whirl that we have. And just get in for 4 damage, leaving our opponent at 5. And then next turn we can cast out the Dauntless River Marshal. Opponent has left the game and we will take it. I want to thank you for watching and see you in the next video.